Okay, I'm at a cave. Not sure if I'm allowed to tell you the name of this one, but it's actually pretty easy to find if you know where to look for it. But long story. But anyway, I'm gonna go ahead and stroll through here. I don't remember how hard this cave is. This is the only second time I've been to this cave, so you know, a little bit tricky. But I'm standing up. So far, it's super easy. Just watch the floor. Obviously, there are trip hazards. I don't remember how long this cave is, but I know somebody else brought me here, and most people don't bring me to short caves. They bring me to longer caves worth visiting. So I'm going to go ahead and hope they know what they were doing. I'm going to try to stay to the right to go counterclockwise, as seen from above. Come by and shoot a vertical video, and stay to the left, go clockwise. So should double my chance of seeing something cool. As you can see, the walls and ceiling are kind of smooth and kind of rough. It's hard to explain. Floor is covered with breakdown rock. That dark spot up there. Ooh, there's a spider. Man, yeah, this is September, so this is the time of year where there's spiders crawling around. But I was going to point out that moth. Hopefully you're not afraid of spiders. Let me turn around and look. Okay, there's the way I came in. That's the way out. I think it's the only entrance. Don't really remember. All right. Wow. So notice the tube slopes downwards pretty well. So that's good to know. Helps you navigate. I do have my backpack with extra flashlights and stuff with me, so I can be in here a little bit at a time. Sometimes in a short cave, I leave my backpack outside to make it easier, so I don't have to drag it around. But obviously, by myself, I need to be extra careful not to be stuck in here without a light or anything. Wow. Sure, a lot of interesting textures. Thought about inviting other people, but other people coming up soon, they got some other plans. So I didn't want to think I was interfering with those other plans. But yeah, look how steep it is right here. The floor and the ceiling both slope down pretty good. It's almost a lava fall. But before I go down, I just want to turn around and show you how far I've gotten so far. Nice little cave. The ceiling is mostly smooth, but kind of rough too. Interesting. All right, let's see if I can go down here without slipping. I have good boots on, so I should have good traction. But even in boots, I could trip over a rock or something. So I have to be a little bit careful. The ceiling is just barely tall enough I could stand up in. It's definitely a lot easier for me to walk than to crawl. So I prefer a cave like this. Despite the trip hazards, I would call it easy. Notice the ceiling's kind of purple and the walls are kind of pale blue, and then the floor is brown from the dirt. In case you lose track of which way is up. All right. I saw a cool I saw a cool picture on Facebook recently. It showed bats hanging from the ceiling, you know? So somebody took the picture of the bats hanging from the ceiling, and they flipped it right side up. So it looked really cool. It looked like the bats were standing up funny. Okay, just a little bit of spiders. Notice the way they like to jiggle. Shake around a little bit. Wow, there's lots of these harvestman spiders all over the walls. Okay, obviously I'm disturbing them a bit. I'm just gonna briefly show you this moth and then keep going so I don't disturb the wildlife too much. But it's not like it's winter. I'm not like waking them up from hibernation or something. You know, I wonder what those spiders eat in here. I mean, obviously they're in here. They must be eating something. It's September, so it's not like they're hibernating for the winter or something. Interesting. Wow. Oh, looks like this cave's gonna be a little bit of work ahead. But before I go, look at the ceiling. Look how the rock is like red, and it's got like this pale brown sand on it. Wow. Interesting. All right, let's see how much farther I can go. Whoa. Oops. Almost hit my hand. All right, looks like it'll be easiest to stay to the right, which is what I was planning to do anyway. So that worked out pretty good. Man, if you're afraid of spiders, don't watch this video. This whole right wall It's got harvestman spiders all over it. Man, look at the floor here, how it's covered in mud. Notice the holes are from water dripping from the ceiling. Cool. You know, I wonder when this cave was discovered, how the floor looked. Oh boy, the ceiling's getting lower and lower. I'm crouching down now. I don't remember how long this cave is. Let me crouch down in a second here so I can look around. Wow, look at the wall. See at least one of those harvestman spiders. But I wanted to show you this patch of mud on the floor. I'm gonna go around this. I don't want to step on it and risk, well, one, I don't want to slip, but two, I don't want to make a mess. It's perfect the way it is. Okay, looks like there's a trail to the middle here anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and follow this trail. Basically, it's a muddy trail. Other people have come through here. I'm obviously not the first person in this cave. I only know this cave, somebody else brought me here. Wow, look at this. Suddenly the floor has no breakdown. It's just flat. Except for that pile. Just gonna pretend I didn't see that pile. Look at this, this is super easy. Even I can handle this. You can see it's very wet though. Wow. This is a cool little cave. And I'm standing up. Wow. Okay, I have my my flashlight at 30% brightness. So I'm gonna leave it like that for now. What sucks, look at this. On the wall. Wow, that goes in here. On the wall, there's cave slime. People have been writing in it with their fingers. It's not really proper. It's not really damaged, but you know, it'd be nice if they could leave it alone. Look at that, that's like a mineral formation there. It's kind of cool. Wow. This is a cool little cave. Glad I came up here. I haven't been this far in a long time. Whoo-wee. What's weird, look at this, how it's mostly dark ahead and there's a bright spot. I think I know why too. Hold on, I'm gonna turn up the brightness on my light to 100%. Yeah, see? Where the cave slopes down, it's bright. And up here, it's dark. Interesting. Okay, I'm gonna turn my light back down I leave it at 30% so it doesn't overheat and to make it last. This is a neat little cave. Like I said, I've been in this cave before, but it's been a long time. Like, I don't remember how many years. Actually, it's probably like 2 or 3 years. But I've done so much lately. Yeah, see up here, it's a dead end. But going down here, it's nice. Look at this brown stuff. Let me get over here, shoot across. Wow. Sure echoes in here. It's really cool. Nice. By the way, I'm shooting at aperture f over 5.0. So, but yeah, this bright stuff, this is cave slime on the black rock. I want to show you something else really cool. Not all rock is the same. Look at this. How basically, I think what's happening there, the rock itself is black and there's cave slime. For whatever reason, it's extra black. It might be something coming in from above, but it's also keeping cave slime from going there. So that's why it's extra dark in that one spot. Wow. This is really cool cave. I'm glad I finally did this. All right. You can see here how the ceiling is mostly covered with cave slime, so it's bright. And then the lower wall and the floor is not covered in cave slime. So you look at the bare rock or sand. This is really cool. It's almost like a puddle of sand in the middle of the cave. Notice you can see by the shape of the rocks, the curvature. Long story short, when it's flowing, it flows faster in the middle than the sides. So what happens, it makes this shape. So if you're looking at like a smiley face, you're looking up the tube. And if it looks like a frowny face, you're looking down the tube. Or another way, it's like arrows pointing down the tube. So if you have a cave with that feature, it helps you know which way the lava flowed, at least for a while. Most of the caves will flow the same direction all the time. There are exceptions to that. It can reverse, but not too often. Notice that white stuff there. I think that's mineral. I'm gonna go backwards. Hold on, I need to be sure I don't fall backwards. The floor here is relatively easy by cave standards, but still I don't want to do something stupid and fall down. But yeah, look at that. That's the way back out. That's the way it came in. Like the Terminator said, I'll be back. But for now, I'm gonna go this way. What sucks, look at this. Somebody vandalized the cave. It looks like they wrote their name on it and then somebody else crossed it out, made it even worse. That'll grow back, but it'll take a long time. It'd be really cool to set up a time lapse in here, take like a picture once per day, because you know, it's probably gonna be like 100 years or more before it disappears. But anyway, wow. Again, this is dirt or sand. And then the holes are for water dripping from above, making little impact craters. Sometimes if the sand is deep enough and nobody touches it, it can make cool shapes that look like sand castles. Obviously this cave doesn't look like that because it doesn't have enough sand. Notice how the cave is getting smaller and smaller. Narrower side to side. Ooh, hold on, let me pan down or get down and pan up. Mineral formations. The ceiling is lower here too. That can mean we're near the end of the cave, or it can mean there's an upper level of the cave. But it's been so long since I've been here, I don't remember which one. I didn't think to look at my older video to refresh my memory. Oops. That crunchy noise was me stepping on a loose rock. The sand is in the middle. Unfortunately, that's where it's easiest to walk. So I am walking on the sand here just because I can't really avoid it. Try not to. But yeah, look at these. If possible, try not to step on that. I'm gonna try to stay to the side here, but anyway. The ceiling's here a little low. I'm not standing up. Oh, I think I'm almost to the end of the cave. We'll see. Notice how rough the floor is here on the side. How red it is. Presumably from iron content. Oh wait, see, there's another layer of lava on top. So the cave gets smaller because it's full of this stuff. Wow. Okay, so I'm not near the end of the cave. Oh, no. See, I'm always wrong. That's why nobody listens to me. Might as well mute this video. There. Definitely the end of the cave. Cool. Okay, now, notice the cool texture of the wall here. I don't approve of graffiti, but I'm going to show you the graffiti just so you know where I am. Yeah, somebody wrote their name here. In the good old days, people get to the end of the cave, and to prove it, they'd like write their name or initials there. Luckily, we've replaced that habit with just taking pictures or video. But anyway, okay, so it only took me about 15 minutes to get into this cave. So another 15 minutes out. Pretty much the whole cave in one short video. But yeah, look how deep that hole there is in the sand. So if you see something like that, try not to step in it because it's really cool. It's technically a formation, sand formation. I'm May not be the prettiest formation, but, well, if you didn't care, you wouldn't be in here, right? Yeah. So the good old days, like 100 years ago, you know, people were kind of obsessed with conquering nature. They wanted to conquer the whole planet and so on. But lately, you know, I think some people like Theodore Roosevelt, Teddy Bear Roosevelt, and so on, they realize we should try to preserve this stuff, not just for our own benefit, but for its own sake. Luckily, some countries, they do a good job of balancing preservation with conservation versus, I don't want to say exploitation, but, you know, utilization. That's a good word, utilization. Obviously, if you're going to build things, you need resources to build them with, right? But hopefully we realize we don't just consume it all. Save something for later. In fact, you want to read something really depressing? Look up the heat death of the universe. Basically says that entropy always increases to the point that eventually the whole universe will just stop because there's nothing left to do. So even if you find the fountain of youth, you think you're immortal, eventually you're going to run out of, you know, food to eat. Of course, we're talking about a huge number of years in the future, like more than 1 trillion years in the future. Know when it's supposed to happen. Universe is a big, complicated place. Predicting the future is sometimes fun, but sometimes creepy. Personally, I'm planning ahead about 5 years. Maybe 10 on a good day. All right, so look at this. Beautiful. So shiny, it's a lot like Ape Cave. Ape Cave is really cool. They just recently gated it. You used to be able to, well, okay, before COVID-19, you could go in an ape cave 24 hours a day, year round, even in the snow. But then they found out that there were bats hibernating in it. So first thing they did was tell people, okay, close in the winter, don't go in the winter. And they try to limit the number of people during the day to keep it from being overcrowded and so on. But I guess I figured that wasn't enough because last I heard that the 2 main entrances have been gated. Notice, I want to get a close-up of this. It's too bad because I used to go to Ape Cave in the winter. It's cool in the winter because it's really, really wet. So it's so wet in the winter, it looks like it's raining inside. And there's one spot that is so wet, it seriously looks like it's a waterfall inside the cave. It's really cool. But unfortunately, we won't be able to see that again. Oh well. What's funny, it's a huge cave. It only had like 10 bats. So, I mean, it's not like it's full of bats, like something you see in Texas or whatever. Oh, well. Notice back up here where there's breakdown all over the floor. So it's going to be a little bit more work. I was going to stay to the right, but there's a big breakdown pile on the right. So that's why I came over here to the left briefly. Here is where the floor is super easy for a while. But the ceiling's really low. So even though the floor is easy, I still gotta crouch down, try to avoid hitting the ceiling. I don't want to damage the ceiling. Ooh, wow. The floor is just covered in mud over here on the right. So even though I said I was gonna stay on the right, I wouldn't say I lied, I just changed my mind. Yeah. One way or the other, I'm going over here to the left. See, there's a trail through the middle. If there's a trail, you should use it. Keep all the damage, wear and tear localized. Preserve the rest, if possible. Unfortunately, some caves, they become popular and get worn out before a trail's put in. By then, it's too late. Oh, excuse me. I had to burp. I had a little snack before entering the cave. I'm going to try to have a nice long day of caving. So, going to take a little snack, water break, between each cave, since I have to go back to my car anyway. There's footprints over there. Oh well. See, this is what I'm talking about here. Look at the floor here, how there's sand. It's cool little shapes in the sand, almost like a sand castle. So when I go out, I don't want to trample that. I could either squeeze there to the right, or if I came through to the left. I was planning to stay to the right, so I'm gonna go over here to the right, but be careful not to step in that mud or sand. Luckily, there's lots of room to go around it in here. Some of these rocks are sharp. I don't have my gloves on. It's a little too warm to be wearing gloves. Wow, so here's a nice big breakdown pile. Oops. Look at that. Somebody wrote their name way back in 1969. So the rules are, if the graffiti is 50 or more years old, it's historic. This is 2025. So that graffiti, it's almost 60 years old, so we just missed the chance to clean up. Okay, that's funny. Didn't get it on purpose, but on the graffiti right side, there's some pornographic graffiti. Whoops. I try to keep my videos family friendly, like don't say naughty words or make dirty jokes too much or anything, but once in a while, I accidentally catch something naughty. Notice the ceiling here is rough because it's on above a breakdown pile. So this breakdown pile obviously came from the ceiling. Sometimes you see a breakdown pile and where it came from the ceiling was like 100 feet away. It's like, how in the world did that happen? Obviously nobody picked it up and carried it. So yeah. Unfortunately, there's not really a way to witness inside these tubes exactly how they form, because it'd be full of red hot rock. I don't even think a GoPro can handle that. But yeah. Maybe someday if people get bored, they can use a computer simulation. Use a supercomputer, simulate, okay, exactly how does the breakdown on a cave move around? Okay, so look at this. Now I'm going uphill. It's a nice little slope. I don't know if it counts as a lava fall or not, but it's pretty close. While I'm here, oh wow. Okay, if you're afraid of spiders, look away. So there's a moth here, but look next to it. There's all sorts of spiders crawling around, harvestman spiders. And then on the wall here, I'm gonna go away briefly. See how they're shaking? That means they've been disturbed. They don't like me. So I'm gonna leave here and let them be in peace. But that's an example, just by being here, me talking and the light, it kind of disturbs the wildlife. So if there were like a bunch of bats, I'd have to leave without finishing the video. I'm sure harvestman spiders will be just fine. But yeah, here I am back at the entrance, obviously. And I did it within the half-hour time limit, so it's all one video. Cool. In the olden days, I had a GoPro. I was mostly happy with the GoPro, but it would have a 4 gigabyte limit to the videos. So at the highest setting, it'd only be like 9 or 10 minutes per video. So if I spent like 3 hours going through a cave, the video would be in like 20 pieces. I've had a lot of my viewers complain about that, but the only alternative would be for me to edit it all together, splice it all together. I'm way too lazy to do that. You'll figure it out. It's not like anybody's gonna sit around and watch for my video for 3 hours anyway. Even I don't watch my own videos for that long. All right, well, here's the cave. I'm not sure if I'm allowed to name it or not, but that concludes my tour of this cave.